This is chapter 5 of our Sirach Ecclesiasticus um, verse by verse Bible study. We're going straight down the middle, verse by verse. And we are now at chapter 5, man. Chapter 5, it's good. It has, it definitely has some meat in it, okay? Um, so, what we're going to do is we're gonna get started with this, and we're gonna, of course, pick up at verse 1. Okay, and it says, "Set thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life." Okay, and what it's saying, what they're bringing out there is, you don't want to um, make an idol of what you have, and be focused and preoccupied with nothing but money. Okay. uh in the CEB version it says, don't be preoccupied with your money, and don't say, I am self-sufficient. Okay. um because it's probably going to say it in here too. The Most High, he can give and he can take away. So if you make um if you make an idol of that, it's gonna be an issue. uh let's see. So the next verse says, follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. Or as it would break it down in Proverbs, lean not to your own understanding. I think that verse is in Proverbs. Don't lean to your own understanding. In the CB it says, don't follow your inclination or your strength in order to walk in the desires of your heart. So don't be led by your flesh. Don't be led by thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Um, a show I'm about to do, I've done it in the past, is weapons of mass distraction. What they're doing out here with the, this is a capitalist country, okay? And it's all about making money. And all they do year after year is figure out better and more diabolical ways to appeal to your carnal nature, because they know if they do that, you'll continue being a good consumer. Okay. So when you're led by your heart, when you're led by your mind, and you're not led by the spirit, when you're not led by the mind of the Most High, by the mind of Christ, by the words in this book, when you're not led by that, you're going to play right into the diabolical scheme of this beast system we live in. Okay? So, don't follow your own heart and your mind. Make sure you are following the word. Verse 3, and say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. And we're going to continue reading, because this is all in the same thought, okay, in the same vein. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm have happened unto me? For the Lord is long suffering. He will in no wise let thee go. And how do people go about doing this? They don't sit there, and be like, oh, he ain't gonna get me. It's that flesh, is them spirits submitting thoughts. Oh, it's no big deal. it ain't, it's really not a sin. And it's rationalizing in underhanded behavior, stuff that's sin. And you just keep doing it and stacking sin on top of sin and rationalizing. You continue rationalizing that sin, okay? And then in your pride, you just, oh, it's no big deal. And the next thing you know, it is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Hold on one sec. I got to get this off here. There we go. Okay? So, the next thing you know, you think it is not a sin, it's no big deal, but in the meantime, the Most High is long suffering your behavior, and then He deals with you on it. Whereas if you're humble, you're like, man, I gotta work on this. You're confessing it. You know you gotta get it off you. You're not deceiving yourself and therefore being deceptive to others. You know what I'm saying? And man, again, the word says Satan is a deceiver, man. So people be letting him submit thoughts to their mind and all this, and they're justifying it. And the more you justify, the less conviction you're getting, and then the next thing you know, you wicked as hell. This is why, again, you got to be around your brothers. Confess your sins one to another. Be transparent. Okay, it all ties in. Let's go to the next one. Okay. It says, concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. Okay? And the definition of that word, propitiation, is to win or gain favor of. Okay? So you trying to win favor with the Most High. It says, be not without fear to add sin unto sin. You need to have a healthy fear, is what we just covered. You got to have a healthy fear about yourself of, hey, I got to get this together. You got to have that humility to fear Yah. And earlier, in the earlier chapters, in the earlier studies of Sirach, we define fear. Not just, oh, I'm scared, but just a healthy respect and reverence and a knowing that the Most High's way is the way. Okay? Let's read it in we're going to read 4 and 5 in the CB. It says, don't say, sure, I sinned, but what happened to me? The Lord is patient indeed. Don't be too confident of being forgiven, adding sin upon sin. And, this is widespread. This is an epidemic of, you see people, man, you can point out exactly what they're doing and show them in the word where it's off. And they'll even go as far to show, oh, yeah, I got to get my stuff together. But you don't even see, not even a minute effort to come up out of that sin. You see, and you can even look at a lot of people, man, on social media, on YouTube, making videos where you're sitting there, you're showing them that they're bearing false witness and all this stuff, and they'll rationalize it away. You won't even see a bit of remorse or caution or anything, man. So, I mean, people like bold with it, and you gotta be humble, man. You can't get sucked into this stuff, man. You gotta be locked in, because I mean, the deception and the better word, than deception. The distraction out here is heavy, you know. Um, so yeah, just wanted to put that out there today. All right. Verse 6. And say not his mercy is great, he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from within, and his indignation resteth upon sinners. Okay? So, look, and let's read in the CB. Don't say his compassion is great, he will forgive the whole heap of my sins. Mercy and wrath are with him, and his anger will rest on sinners. And I said within, but it said with him. Okay, let me make sure it's the same on here. Yeah, it says, for mercy and wrath come from him. So you feel like you have some type of control when it's like when the Most High sees that, hey, this dude know better. I done warned him, and he know he need to do this, and he ain't put forth the effort. That's probably when that wrath come in. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the Most High deals with people through circumstances. You know, and a lot of times his communication is through situations and circumstances. Okay? And when you go against what his word says, you know, it's, yeah. It like literally, his word is so practical. It's like going against what his word says is like, you know, the law of gravity. If you jump off something, you're going to fall. Like literally, that's how it is with his word. But people don't think it's that serious because there's a delay in the effect. So it's like cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? So it says here, make tarrying to turn to the Lord and put not off from day to day. Boy, we just said that. You know, and it's crazy. Just, you know, being ahead of an assembly and, you know, helping to guide and lead saints, man. In the past, I've seen people, you literally got to beg them to do this. Like, it's like, yo, you do know this is off, right? Yeah, I know, man. Yeah, I know I got to work on that. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. But boy, there be stuff working inside, and people are not making that tarrying to turn to the Lord and to put something in place to start working on this stuff. Man, I'm telling you. Because like we read on in this chapter, there's stuff I got to work on. Like you read through the book of Sirach, boy, it's going to cut. Nobody can read through this book and not be like, woo. It's going to dice you up. It's going to find major areas where you off at. Same thing with the book of Proverbs. And see, the book of Proverbs, what I tell people, the book of Proverbs and the book of Sirach, they are the Most High's will. They are the laws, statutes, and commandments broken down to the granular level. That's what it is. There's no wiggle room. There's no excuse making. There's no misinterpretation of this stuff. It is granular what the expectation is. So it would behoove people to read through that and study that thing. Because you're not going to make it far in there. You're lucky if you can make it through the first couple verses without getting diced up. And you're going to, I mean, if you have even a little bit of hearing, ears to hear, a little bit of eyes to see, a little bit of sight there, it's going to open them wide up. You'll be able to see what's going on with guess who? Not you. You. Not me, you. You're going to be able to see what's going on with yourself. And it's very easy. Don't get it twisted. If you are operating in a lot of pride and fear and rejection and stuff like that, and you're not able to look within, you're going to read this book and be reading it and be like, oh, yeah, that's him. Oh, yeah, that's them. Oh, that's him. You see what I'm saying? But we are called to work our own salvation out with fear and with trembling. Let's continue on. So, this verse 7 is heavy, and this is concluding. This is like almost like a conclusion for this is all one thought, from chapter 5 verse 1 all the way to like 7 or 8, I think. But it says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. Okay? So you're going to just be tearing, you're going to keep making the same excuses to yourself that you've been making. And sometimes you've been making these excuses, y'all, so long. You've been making excuses to yourself for so long, you're not even aware you're doing it. That's a scary place to be, because suddenly you could be destroyed. Let's read it in the CEB version, in the Common English version, a more broken down version. Don't wait to turn back to the Lord. Don't put it off day after day, because the Lord's wrath will come forth suddenly. When the time for punishment comes, you will be destroyed. Y'all, and I'm just telling you, I witnessed this with a brother who was a part of this assembly firsthand. Firsthand. Everybody in the assembly saw the thing go down. And literally got taken out. When I say taken out, destroyed, killed, doing the very thing he had been rebuked about, using we call weapons of mass distraction, talking about phones and video games and stuff like that. Okay? This thing's real, y'all. These are uncomfortable truths for a lot of people who are deeply rooted in certain things. And it's not just weapons of mass distraction, not just being caught up in always being on your phone, doing unproductive stuff on your phone and stuff like that. That's not the only thing. It's certain mindsets, it's certain thoughts, feelings, emotions, impulses we have going on where, man, we got to look within and put this work in. Really analyze ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This thing is real. This is a short chapter, but y'all, this is heavy. And it says to turn back to Yah. With some people tell themselves, oh yeah, no, I serve Yah. On I go up, I go to fellowship, I keep this law, I keep that, but there's certain areas of your life where you're very much serving your flesh. And you know that you're getting warnings about it. You know you're getting convicted about it, but the more you put it off, the more you're killing that still small voice that's sitting there trying to warn you. That's that conviction that's coming over you. Each time you blow it off and you don't do it, the conviction becomes more and more and more. It grows weaker. I'm sorry. The conviction convicts you less and less and less until you don't feel it anymore. It's just gone. So this is a strong warning here. You know what I'm saying? This is a good chapter. All right. Let's continue. It says, And this goes back to, I think I did a video yesterday, a short one, just being warning people to be vigilant, be watchful. Just warning people. You can feel it. That's why I put that video out, y'all, yesterday, because I could sense, like, you can feel Satan's presence when he's around, like that darkness. And that's when I start praying, rebuking, warning people, because he's like a roaring lion and he's out seeking who he may devour. Okay? It says, set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. Okay? That's pretty straightforward. We get any more granular with it. It says, don't be preoccupied with ill-gotten gains. It will be of no benefit when you are in trouble. And in fact, I would go further and say, it'll get you in trouble. Okay? Let's go. Verse 9 says, when now not with every wind, and go not in every way, for so doeth the sinner that have a double tongue. Okay? So, the way I like to, and we're going to read that in the CB also. It says, don't be blown about by every wind, and don't take every shortcut. This is how the devious sinners act. Okay? So, the way I like to say it is, and I run into a lot of saints who struggle with this, and I try to give them guidance on this, but you got to be in purpose, on purpose. You got to be dialed in, locked in. You got to be in purpose, on purpose. Because Satan is dysfunction. Sin is dysfunction. Like, Satan causes dysfunction. And if you want to see and know where Satan's operating at, look at where dysfunction is going on. And dysfunction is distraction. One of the things I like to say is distracted people distract people. So you need to eliminate people who are distracted and aimless and all over the place out of your life. Because they will get you off out of focus and bring distraction and dysfunction into your life. And the reason why I say that way is because with Satan's main objective is one thing: to get you focused on anything else but working your own salvation out with fear and trembling. I didn't even say the word. Because if you go out there in the so-called Hebrew Israelite community, you'll see people who are locked in and focused on the word, ever learning and never coming into the knowledge. His main strategy is to make sure you never look at yourself. He don't care how he go about trying to bring that about. He wants to make sure you don't work your salvation out with fear and trembling, that you don't bring your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and impulses into the obedience of Christ. That's his main objective. And he will use the word to do that. He will use other saints to do that. He'll use people with drama to do that. He'll use drama to do it. He'll use people around you with drama to do it, to get you out of not being focused. He'll use money to do it. You name it. You could type it in the chat on what he will use to get you off focus. Because at the end of the day, you reading through this whole word is designed for you to look at yourself and see where you're out of alignment with it. And if he can, I mean, he will use anything to get you off doing that. So, I mean, it's too numerous to name. All the things he'll use to get you off track. Okay? Um, let's see. Okay. It says, okay, did we read that? Did we read 10? Oh, 9. Let's read 9 over here. Well, we already, so it's telling you to be steadfast, okay? That's what it tells you in, here in verse 9. And that word steadfast, oh, of course, this dictionary don't know what that word means. Ain't that a shame? But we're going to pull it up. I just want to read the definition to you so it goes in. It says steadfast means firm, loyal, and unwavering in purpose, belief, or support. Okay? That's why I wanted to read that definition, because it so let's read this verse 10, because it's so heavy. It says, be firm, loyal, and unwavering in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same. Okay? So that's verse 10. We hadn't read that, but you understand? And when it says understanding this word, understanding what the expectation is of you, how you need to be operating and behaving. And this is why we become, the ministry I'm a part of here, and the assembly and community I'm in. It provides an environment that's highly conducive to being steadfast in your understanding and in your growth and development and in your path and in your walk. But you get a lot of people, they come in and they realize they really don't want to get righteous. And they don't realize it a lot of times. They justify it. But they wrestle with walking in humility, righteousness, you name it. Okay? Let's continue on. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer. Okay? And you gotta, that's a big one. You gotta, because in this world, there's a lot of triggers. Like I said, a lot of deception and not deception, a lot of distraction and stuff to get you in your thoughts, feelings, emotions, get you to get emotional, get you to give a quick answer. There's a lot of evil out there pushing you to do this. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Honor and shame is in talk, and the tongue of man is his fall. Okay? So it said honor and shame is in talk. Okay? So let's we're gonna read that in the CEB. It says, if you have understanding, answer your neighbor, but if you don't, clap your hands over your mouth. Okay? Speaking brings glory or dishonor. Indeed, the tongue can be a person's downfall. Okay? So, again, what we have to do in our speech, and I'm learning this too, what we have to do in our speech is use wisdom in how we speak. And what is wisdom? What we're doing now, we're getting that wisdom, we're getting that understanding. Okay. Be not called a whisperer, and lie not in wait with thy tongue, for a foul shame is upon the thief, and an evil condemnation upon the double tongue. Okay? Let's read it in 14. Don't get a reputation for being a slanderer, and don't set traps for people with your speech, because shame comes to the thief and terrible blame comes upon the deceitful. Okay? One of the things I talk about is speaking guile. Okay? And let's start from the beginning. It says, don't be a slanderer, or don't be telling stuff that is not true. Okay? And then it's saying, don't set traps with your speech. Don't be manipulative with your speech. One of the examples of that is what they call NLP. A lot of stuff falls under NLP. It is basically witchcraft. It's neuro linguistic programming. It's saying stuff which you can do. You can say certain things that trigger certain emotions, thoughts, feelings, reactions in people. It's the other way the Bible talks about it. It calls it guile, speaking guile, being deceitful, and like I said, it's a form of witchcraft. And examples of it, I actually, some of those, well, actually, in that series I'm doing, the inner wall, blockage to looking within, I go through a lot of the ways people use these cunning, manipulative, speaking ways of talking to manipulate people, deceive, you name it. One of them is called gaslighting, where, you know, and you can look it up. Look up what it actually is online. But it's basic. Here, I'm gonna just pull it up because I know the definition will be better than I could explain it. Yes. Now check this out. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where an abuser makes someone doubt their own reality, memories, or sanity, causing confusion, insecurity, and loss of self-esteem, often to gain power and control. Okay? It originated from a play. Common tactics involve denying events, trivializing feelings, attacking credibility, blaming, and lying, leading victims to constantly second guess themselves and apologize. Okay? So people operate in this when people are steeped in like pride, fear, rejection, all that stuff, and the pain of admitting or looking at themselves is too painful because they went through trauma, they'll operate in these behaviors. Okay? And like it said, be not called a whisperer, and lie not in wait with thy tongue. So don't lie in wait with your tongue, for a foul shame is upon the thief, and an evil condemnation upon the double tongue. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. So don't be ignorant of a great matter or a small. And, you know, we read these chapters, it says it goes through this thing throughout, and it says, it basically telling you, get wisdom, get understanding. You got to, with all thy getting, get wisdom. Like that spirit of wisdom, it's pleading. These books are pleading with you to get it. Okay? And we're going to be doing a verse by verse study of the book of Proverbs here soon. I'll be kicking that off soon. And yeah, we're gonna go through that and really, you know, get the meat off the bone with it. So you have wisdom and understanding. And yeah, we're gonna get granular with it. But yeah, I appreciate all y'all tuning in. If y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, put it in the comments. Definitely subscribe. And with that said, I appreciate all y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat, and this is chapter 5 of the Sirach Ecclesiasticus, verse by verse study. And with that said, y'all, shalom, shalom.